What's up, everybody? I'm here with another book review. This time I want to talk about a book in the Goosebumps series 2000 series. This is The Horrors of the Black Ring. This is a book that I read probably 10 years ago, and I remember thinking it was fine. I thought it was okay, not amazing. I did give it like a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads before I really started doing like more in-depth reviews and things like that. For those of you who don't know, I recently became engaged, and I thought it'd be really fun to read this book based on buying a ring, going ring shopping. I thought this all tied in. It does have a carnival in here, and I figured that kind of ties in with Halloween a little bit. You think about carnivals and stuff, maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, I decided to go ahead and try to knock this out, and I was very surprised at this book because I mostly remembered the ending of this being a little confusing. The rest of it I didn't remember really at all, especially the middle portion of this. I thought was fantastic, and I just didn't remember a lot of it. And I started taking notes. And you guys are going to have to bear with me because I may have to freeze up a little bit because certain things, one thing right after another happens in this book, and it's very hard to keep up. And when I was doing this review for my Instagram, I started taking notes on my notepad on my phone, and every chapter I was going back to my phone and taking notes because I couldn't really keep up with so much things that happened. So if I leave anything out on this review, I mean, I guess that's fine because I do think you should go in and read this for yourself. But I'm gonna try to remember like the highlights, and yeah, we'll just go from there. The story itself follows this girl named Beth. She has a little sister named Amanda. Amanda is this bratty kid that just wants to have her attention, has Beth's attention all the time. They're outside one day, and there's this kid named Anthony that rides by. Anthony's like the bully who loves to pick on Beth, and I remember thinking this book a long time ago was basically like a Haunted Mask ripoff, and I still think that to a certain extent, but it's more, I think. Like, not more than the Haunted Mask, but like it does have some more things that I do think stands out a little bit more than the Haunted Mask. So Anthony's riding around, and there's this hurt bird in the road that he goes to run over, and Beth stops him, and saves the bird. But then Anthony runs over this worm and kills it. Like, he's just very ruthless and very annoying and stuff like that. So she carries this bird home, and she says she's gonna take care of it, kind of nurse it back to health. It has like a hurt wing, and yeah. So we leave from there. We go to school, and they're in class, and Beth sees this teacher named Miss Gold, who has a ring on her finger, and she kind of gets scared because she sees a face inside the ring, and she thinks, what is this? But the teacher explains that it's a like a flaw in the jewel, that there's something inside the ring that just made it look like that. So yeah, we learned that there's this carnival happening, and Beth is like the coordinator for this a carnival kind of thing. Got like a little bake sale going on and different things like that. So somehow or another they leave and come back. I don't remember exactly what they do, but she hears a scream. She comes back and she sees "The Carnival is Doomed" written over and over again on the chalkboard, and she doesn't know, and Beth doesn't know like what's going on or whatever. So she leaves from there, and this Anthony guy is doing some stuff for the art exhibit thing, and he draws best picture. Like, yeah, she doesn't have he doesn't have a crush on her at all. But yeah, he draws her picture, and later on that day, another thing happens where all of the art gets just destroyed, and the only one that's left is Anthony's. So this kind of points to Anthony doing this, right? Because he's like jealous. He wanted to become this coordinator guy for the carnival, but he doesn't get it. So after this, um, the you know she thinks that the carnival is doomed, and she starts getting like freaky phone calls. Um, she's at her house, and her sister has this, and this sounds ridiculous, but she has this cow eyeball that she got from her friend at school because they're doing some kind of like dissection kind of thing, and she refuses to play Barbies with her, and it gets put in her bed, and Beth is of course mad. So yeah, that's mainly the first half of this book. I do think that was really good. The middle portion is where it gets crazy, like ridiculous. So we end up going to the carnival anyway, even though Beth thinks that there's something bad's gonna happen. She brings her sister with her, and immediately when she gets to the carnival, um, she bites into a brownie, and inside the brownie has maggots. All right. So then the gymnasium starts shaking. You see the lights flickering, and there's this hooded figure walking through. And this is the part where I did not remember at all. So this figure walks through. It grabs Amanda and tries to like basically kidnap her. And in my head, I'm thinking this is like a dream. Like this has to be like a dream sequence. I just didn't remember it. No, this is real. The police try to tackle this hooded figure. It kind of escapes, then tackles him again, or her, and it turns out to be Miss Gold. They flip the hood over, and it's revealed to be Miss Gold. So they arrest her. This is crazy. This is like Goosebumps. So they arrest her, and before she leaves, her ring falls off, and she claims that earlier in the book that this ring wouldn't come off. So Beth goes and picks up the ring, puts it on her finger, like almost hypnotically, and this is where we get to the like haunted mask type story. So she puts the ring on, and she goes home, and she has this dream about ducks with humans' bodies. And in her dream, she like rips the duck heads off, which are human heads, which is very dark. And like they explain there's blood, all this kind of cool stuff. And it turns out that when she wakes up, she's actually sleepwalking, and she destroys her sister's room. And after this, it gets even crazier because I forgot to mention too, one of the things that happens was this kid, they're doing a dunk tank, and they throw this ball, and this kid falls in, like in the dunk tank, and the water's like boiling hot. That happened too. But yeah, the third half of this book, a third of this book, is her just causing carnage. Um, she sees this kid Anthony. He's on his bike. She rips the bike wheel off with her bare hands and bends it over her knee. Um, rips the chain off. Um, she smashes his glasses with like a brick. She just starts destroying things. She goes home and destroys her sister's Barbie collection. She starts breaking them and throwing them, just all over the place. Just very ruthless stuff. And then she starts taking it out, like, because you think, well, she's just hurting the people that were annoying to her. But then she starts stuffing this kid in a locker. She throws like rats and slugs and food. It's insane. Um, yeah, this book could have been 300 pages, and I would have been entertained all the way through because I just wanted to see what kind of carnage this stuff caused. And that's literally what this book is. It's just Beth gets this ring and just starts destroying everything and just being mean. And it's very mean spirited. I had a lot of fun with it. And this might be a hot take of mine, but yeah, I give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I thought this was perfect. Um, it was very fun. I thought it built up pretty good because it started off, kind of like low kind of things. Even though you got a cow eyeball in your bed, that's kind of gross. But yeah, the rest of it is crazy. The ending where this kid Anthony gets him a new bike, he goes to ride down the road, and there's like a bike-a-thon thing, and she thinks about cutting the brakes, but she doesn't do it. And this entitles the thing here, the ring person, to make an appearance, and that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to say any more about it, but yeah. The Horrors of the Black Ring is easily my favorite reread so far of the Series 2000. I thought this was fantastic. I loved how mean-spirited and just evil this book was. I loved the dynamic of this thing here. He just kind of possesses people. We don't learn a ton about him. I will give that a flaw. And the way, when I read this a long time ago, when the way to kind of defeat him was kind of not my favorite, and it didn't make any sense. If you really kind of you kind of don't think about it like super hard, it kind of makes sense, I guess, in a way. And I kind of like to suspend my belief on that, and just really enjoy it for what it is. And yeah, I remember reading this, and I got about halfway through, and I was like, okay, this book's fantastic. I'm having fun. Love this. Yeah, The Horrors of the Black Ring. I easily give it a 5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, no real complaints other than I just kind of wish we learned more about this guy here. And for those of you who don't know, on the Goosebumps series 2000, which I love this series for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is they at the end of every book you have like a picture of like the main villain in like a little small circle there. So that's pretty cool. I try to remember to show that off, but I never do. And we'll talk about the cover art really quick. Very awesome. I love this. Just this jewelry sitting in this pile of junk or jewels or whatever. Very cool stuff. Yeah. 5 out of 5 stars from you guys. Please let me know in the comments below. What did you think about The Horrors of the Black Ring? Is it one of your favorite books in the Goosebumps series 2000 series? Yeah, I think that's it for me, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.